Good morning, Balanced Nation. It's Dr. Anthony G. Beck, and it is Easter. He has risen. That's right. For those fellow Christians, you know what that means. Hey, guys, I got a really cool thing to show you guys real quick. This is going to be a short and sweet one, down to the point, because I'm getting ready to go celebrate the resurrection of my Lord and Savior this Sunday with my family, and I'm super excited about it. Plus, I'm going to also do some electrical work and install some stuff, for one of my loved ones while I'm over there. So, anyways, let's get right to it. Let me show you guys how I was right from the beginning, and I'll get even more right as we go. Not to gloat, because I got to be a little humble given the day that it is. But I'm not cocky. I'm just convinced. All right, you guys, let's go real quick to the tails of the tape. And for those of you who are getting on here a little bit late, because you should be with your families, it's Easter, for crying out loud. Let's take a look here real quick. Okay, so the world tally is pretty silly, so I'm just going to get here to the United States. So we supposedly have 530,000 air quotes confirmed cases. Now remember, those confirmed cases are not truly confirmed. That number is a big fat lie. It is a number that is completely based upon assumption, best guesses, and a test that has an 80% false positive rate that has about a 20 to 30% specificity related to it. So the COVID-19 test, like I said, from the very onset of all of this, just like I have said, everything is totally bogus, okay? But for kicks and grins, take a look at these numbers. Now, what you'll see over here is they changed this map, if you guys didn't notice, if you've been following it, because the thing is that you can see over here that it's now changed. You lost the recovered number over on the right. Now this is total tested in the United States, kind of a thing. Then they also will show you hospitalizations, right? So you guys can see those if you want. Anyways, those are all sham numbers, but we're going to go with this. The other thing I always like to do here is take a look over here at worldometers.info and take a look at these numbers. Now, if you'll notice here, the active cases, 96. Remember, it was 90. It was less than 90. It was 95 most of the time. Are in mild condition, and only 4% across the globe are in serious or critical. Okay, look at all those closed cases. 412,000, only 100,000 deaths. That's 21% of that number. But here's the deal. If you want to check these, you can see, so yesterday, these were the numbers, and then now it's down here. But here's what I've been doing. I've been mapping my own numbers, as you guys know, because I'm a data, history, and precedent guy. It gives me tremendous comfort, right? So when you take a look and see what these numbers are and how we're trending, okay, you know that these guys, these are the models. I showed you the models as projected into the New York Times, but this is also the models coming from the IHME. This is the big, bad, scary model that Fauci and Birx and our lousy surgeons in general were all talking about and scaring everybody about. 2 million deaths, then 1 million deaths, then 500,000 and 400,000, and then 100 to 200,000. And it just kept getting down and down and down because they were looking at faulty numbers. So at the end of the day, and again, I'm going to keep saying it because it's really important, you guys. Back in February, I called this thing a sham. I called it a hoax. I said the hysteria was an absolute hoax. It is. This is a completely contrived thing that just didn't pan out. Talk about a nothing burger in an empty barrel. This is it. So now what they did last time I showed you is now they've said we've already 2 days since projected peak in daily deaths. No, you move that. The death, you were saying the peak was going to be a lot longer. So this is what they're saying is the numbers that we're going to continue to have. They had a whole bunch of 3,000 deaths per day numbers. And now they're also showing all these deaths into June. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to drive home a bunch of times so you guys will never forget that the CDC and the powers that be are specifically telling doctors to label virtually everything a COVID-19 death. So those numbers in the United States, okay, these supposed numbers, okay, of 20,000 people died of COVID-19 is, wait for it, a lie. It's a damn lie. So I said from the very beginning, we ain't going to have 1 million, we ain't going to have 100,000. I said, even if we did worst case scenario, okay, maybe 34,000 or so. But here's the deal. It ain't even coming to that either. Okay, this is less than this flu season. Matter of fact, I did some more numbers crunching. Okay, so if you want to go check this out, you can go over to the pneumonia and influenza mortality surveillance from the National Center for Health Statistics and Mortality Surveillance System. Okay, you guys can go and check this out. Well, guess what, folks? Guess what? Okay, so if you go and you take a look at the CDC's National Center for Health Statistics and Mortality Surveillance System, I just showed you that, the total deaths in the first 3 weeks of March are down 10% on average for over the past, what? 4 years of the same period. So, matter of fact, we didn't have all the doom and gloom. We didn't have all these mass deaths and all the scare tactics and stuff that warranted forcing people to be snatched off of buses because they weren't wearing a mask and fear of imprisonment if you're not going to be covering your face, which is funny. I'm going to get to that in just a second. So if you take the average of weeks 9 through 11 for the first 4 years, there was a total of 170,000 deaths for weeks 9 through 11 of this year. So the total is 153,015. Okay, so that means that 17,540 fewer people died in America during the first 3 weeks of March. Okay, that could be reasonably expected. Okay, so the gap between the historical deaths and the weekly deaths is doing what? It's unbelievable. Okay, so now jump right to it. After the entire month of March is done and has now been reported, okay, it shows the deaths in the United States in March 15% less on average than the past 4 years. Unbelievable. I mean, that's just the craziest thing ever. But yet, what you have is you have people that are like this lady, you know, the Michigan governor, Gretchen Whitmer. She prohibits grocery stores from selling vegetable seeds. Can you believe that? Okay, this lady is just unbelievable. Okay, this is an amazing thing to me. Now, you know, when we had the previous pandemics and the World War stuff, they actually encouraged people to build victory gardens. Remember those? It wasn't just a show on PBS, right? There was a whole thing in the history about encouraging people to grow their own food, but not the Democrats. No, sir, right? Matter of fact, that's the party, and I want to make sure we start calling these people out right now. Remember I showed you this guy, Garcetti? He is the mayor of Los Angeles, and he basically said, turn in your neighbors, be a good little Nazi and tie in your, tell your neighbors, and we'll reward you for it. That's what they said. Okay, he's got a D in parentheses around his name. Now let me show you another gentleman here real quick. Okay, so this is Jerry Demings. Okay, this is the mayor of Orange County, Florida, where I live. Okay, so now this guy, you know what he says? He says that Orange County businesses could be closed into June. This is just recent, right? This is yesterday. Okay, so our mayor of Orange County, Florida, still doesn't get it. Oh, maybe it's because he has a big capital D in parentheses around his name, right? Well, you know what's interesting about him? I think this is very, very interesting to note because I think things run in the family. This just happens to be his wife. His wife's name is Val Demings. Do you guys recognize her? Oh, that's right. She was one of those impeachment managers. You know, one of the ones who tried to say, hey, listen, Trump, needs to be impeached. And she got one of those little pins, from that dirtbag Nancy Pelosi. So isn't that funny that the lady who didn't even get it right and wanted to be a part of the other sham known as the impeachment of our great president, Donald J. Trump, is also married to this idiot who is the mayor of Orange County, Florida, where I reside, who's basically saying that, you're going to wear masks or you're going to get fined or go be imprisoned. Isn't that an interesting little thing to think about? I think it's a cute little thing to think about, okay? So here's what we want to do. All right, because I told you I was going to be short and sweet on this. The reason why I'm showing you these things is because now it's time to pivot, Balanced Nation. It's time to pivot. It is time to pivot over to the balanced understanding that those who created the problem have to be held accountable. And all those who perpetuated the fear, the sadness, the loathing, the turning in of your neighbors for not being good little fellow Nazis and holding up your arm in the form of the salute whenever the authoritarian government tells you to do something, you need to do it. Because yes, you know, masks and all this other kind of stuff and the 6 foot rule and stuff, those aren't laws. I hope you guys understand that. There's something, you guys, I've told you I'm a Christian. I started the video on that. I'm also telling you I'm a constitutionalist. I've told you that. And the bottom line is there's something called laws. There is a process. We elect people to make laws. So whenever there is a policy or there is a mandate or something like that, it's not the law. Now, can they go ahead and use the police state to actually imprison you? Well, of course they can. Can they give you tickets and fines? Of course, but you need to fight them if that does happen because they're not laws. And when this all washes out, they're going to say, no, never mind. Yeah, that was all stupid anyways. Kind of like the bus up in Philadelphia, right, who snatched a gentleman off the bus with about 13, 14 cops, ripped him from the bus because he wasn't wearing a mask because that was the bus's policy. That was the bus company's policy. They've since reviewed that. Why? Because we all spoke up. We all make things go viral. Now, anyways, so my point is this. Now is the time. Your call to action, Balanced Nation, is to keep critically thinking, question everything. Remember, the administrations and governments and elected officials, they work for us. We are not subjects, we are citizens. It is for, by, and of the people, okay? And what a great day to renew that thought on Easter, okay? It's time for a resurrection, okay? The United States needs to move forward. I told you this, and I say it with humility, a little bit of gloat. It'll all be done by May, okay? Because I told you I looked at the data, the history, and the precedent, and it didn't work out, okay? I also know science very well. I'm a scientist, okay? I'm a researcher. I'm a physician, okay? Some people don't like that, but I don't care. So remember, I'm just a guy like you who can look up the same thing as you, and at the end of the day, you had a ton of people out there. Their first thing was to tell you to go buy a bunch of supplements. Hell, you even had, and I appreciated his passion, but you had this, obese chiropractor who told everybody go buy a bunch of Schweppes quinine water and pop a ton of zinc, okay? That kind of stuff is harmful, and it went viral. I couldn't believe it that everybody just, will randomly take the advice of stuff like that. So a lot of my colleagues in the health and wellness space, their first thing was to go, they accepted the narrative, and everybody needs to start supporting their immune system like it's a single thing. If you want more information on that, go back to my videos. They're all archived over at youtube.com/balance protocol. And their first response, they filled my Instagram feeds and my email boxes with selling you dietary supplements in the name of immune system health. And I said, no one needs to go doing or buying any of those things, okay? All this stuff is a sham. It's a total hoax. And I was right as rain, okay? Speaking of rain, we sure need some in Florida. So that's what I'll be praying for today. But anyways, here's the deal, okay? You guys have to go back in history, because if you don't look at history, you're doomed to repeat it. It's the reason why I kept track of all the folks in the space that I saw that were doing this. I've called them out on these videos. I've told you this is from my opinion of how I'm seeing them behave and the heinousness of it. It's silly, but you know what we all have to do? We can forgive them all, okay? But you still, part of the repentance process is you got to confess. You got to let people know that what happened, okay? So that's what I'm going to encourage you guys to do, is just remember how this all went down and came around, but start being excited, because here's the interesting thing. As bad as the economy got, as it is now, okay, this is the equivalent of exactly the best it ever was under the Obama administration. Isn't that interesting if you take a look at the numbers? So right now we're back to what some people thought was amazing back in 2016, all right? So yes, in 3 short weeks, we had 3 long years virtually erased, but they're coming back because have you watched what the stock market's doing? The powers that be didn't buy into this BS anyways. We've had a small drop, but that'll all come back. I think the economy is going to get raging because everybody needs a haircut. and we're going to flood our hairdressers. Okay? So they're going to be the real heroes. I didn't buy into all these medical professionals and people in gowns and masks, and I even was bold enough to say that in my previous videos that they're not heroes. They're just doing their damn job. The heroes are the ones who put on the uniform and go hold a weapon and have bullets and bombs blowing up around them, okay? So don't get me started on that kind of fun stuff. The bottom line here is this. I want you guys to just really take comfort, just like that has been my message from day one. Go back over to the videos. You see them on YouTube, and I stuck my neck out. I told you guys, this is a silly hysteria. It'll be gone by May, and the bottom line is take comfort because it's a ruse. Fauci and Birx and all those people behind the podium that just filled our airwaves were wrong. They can't afford to be wrong. They need to be fired and be held accountable. Trump is already talking about the WHO and holding them accountable. Well, he needs to hold those two unhealthy looking, grimacy, crypt keeper looking, lady and Napoleon behind the podium accountable too. They lied. They have a conflict of interest. Now, in the coming days and weeks, I'm going to be doing tremendous expose. I've been keeping a track of connecting all the dots of everything that's been going on, where I think the Wuhan coronavirus came from, who's behind all that kind of fun stuff. I'm going to reveal deeply into who Bill Gates is and his agenda. Know this. Once this is done, okay, there's going to be a tremendous grab for power. The thing that's going to keep you guys sober is the fact that the administration and the government got it wrong. They lied. And the privateers like Bill Gates and the other people and stuff like that who have a clear agenda to lower the population on the planet because they're projecting where it's going to be at some time in the future, how we're going to house everybody, feed everybody, clothe everybody. They want to start bringing down the population, and they're doing it under the ruse of CO2 and climate change. Just go watch the, spoiler alert, go watch Bill Gates' TED Talks, okay? And he shows his hand. They're not bashful about it anymore, okay? So that's what the plan is, okay? The plan is mass vaccination, control, and digital ID systems so there can be more control and tracking. This was a test, okay? This was a test of the emergency broadcast system. This was a test to see if everyone would lockstep and go indoors under a simple little hoax, and the world fell for it, okay? And your whole lives changed because you got suckered. Not me and mine, not Balanced Nation, okay? So keep spreading the news, let people know to call these things out as they were. Have a wonderful Easter day with your family. Celebrate it however you want to do it. I'm not throwing my faith in your face, but I'm unabashedly the way that I am, as you guys know. That's Dr. AGP. So I love you, Balanced Nation. Take comfort. We got it right. We knew there wasn't going to be and even the 20,000 deaths from COVID are a lie themselves. I don't believe any of them died of COVID. They all had pre-existing conditions. Wait till I start getting into the mechanisms of action of the oxygen to the red blood cells and hemoglobin and stuff like that. I'm going to make you guys ad hoc clinicians so you can understand, because knowledge is where the power comes from. But wisdom comes from the proper use of knowledge. And that's what I want to help you guys learn to do. I love you guys. Happy Easter, and I'll see you soon.